believe him to be the purest lyrical poet in the English-speaking world.
Your man has a reputation for roaring behavior that brought wives, mothers, and the London police running.
How do you propose to handle it?
I'll improvise.
How did you get started and how did this project come about?
Okay. So I co-wrote the script with the director, Andy Goddard, who's from Pembrokeshire. I'm from Anglesey, Holyhead. You might have gone there on holidays, but then again, that would have been a very weird holiday. So I wanted to play Dylan Thomas. And I wanted to play him because I felt like I should play him. I know, arrogant, I know. But I thought there can't be many round-faced, curly-haired, overweight Welsh guys who would be in line for that part. But the idea was to sort of... It was kicked off because I saw the image of the guy. So what you have is that there's the idea of you want to do a part you want to play, but you want to play it for lots of different reasons. And you want to do it because you're drawn to the material, but also you're drawn to the person. So when I saw the picture of the guy, and he looked like not what my brain was telling me what a poet should look like. He behaves unlike a poet. He sort of has a sort of a rock star air about him. So when I saw the photographs of him with his feet up against the wall with a cigarette in his hand looking at the sky, I thought that could be like an album cover. And then I get into his words, and then I sort of see this sort of effect, and then I hear about this idea. So this is all happening from a teenager. And then I become an actor, and people say to me, you should play Dylan Thomas, and you want to play parts as an actor because you want to be... You're all acting, is that right? Is it, yeah. Well, you want to play parts that stretch you. So stretching you, showing range. So you want parts that will sort of draw out of you the most. So you kind of want to be screaming, crying, shouting, laughing as much as possible in a role. Hence, Hamlet has lasted so long because you get a lot to do that a lot in Hamlet. So it was the role. And then I met Andy Goddard, and Andy Goddard said to me, he was writing something at the time. We worked on TV together. I was writing. We shared our stuff. And then we said, why don't we write together? And then very quickly he said, well, why don't we do Dylan Thomas? And I thought, well, why don't we do Dylan Thomas in America? And he said, great. And we had 18 months in bars and cafes coming up with the idea. And then he said, well, if we make this film, we want it to have a punk ethos. We want it to have a sort of irreverence that Dylan has. We don't want to make a stuffy biopic. We don't want to make this sort of... We want to make our version of it, what it's like with Dylan arriving in America at that point in his life. Then we discovered this week that actually happened. When he arrived there, and they bundled him into a car. So we thought, that's it. Our film would be an hour and a half, chamber piece, Dylan and John, seen through John's eyes, because I feel that gives us more perspective rather than saying through Dylan's eyes. Because we get to see the whole beast, the angel and madman. So all that goes on, but when the producers came on board, it happened very quickly. The producers said, let's do it. That was like May 2013. We wrote the script in 5 weeks. We wrote it for Elijah Wood. We got it to him. He said yes in like November. He was filming in February. We premiered in June, and then we released the following November. So it was like a marathon with a sprint finish, if you know what I mean. So an idea that was planted a long time ago with lots of other variables in it.
And it was filmed very, very quickly, wasn't it?
Yeah, we shot it in 18 days in Swansea. First time I saw the film in its sort of assembly was... because Elijah and I spent so long together doing making the film, and it's kind of a two-hander essentially, is that we went to LA because we were seeing sales agents and people like that, and we watched it together in the screening room. And a few people from his team said, where in America did you make this film? And we said, no, we made it in Wales. And they went, wow, you flew all those American actors to Wales. I said, no, we flew one American actor to Wales. The rest were all British actors. I think you might have recognised some of them through there. The guy from Benidorm, Adam Gillen, and Steve Spears from Stellar, I don't know if you watched that, but also Steve McIntosh from Kick-Ass 2 and Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, and the writer who tells the ghost story, Shirley, that's actually Moaning Myrtle from the Harry Potter films, and so it's a good cast.
It's, Kevin Eldon as well.
Kevin Eldon, yeah. He's our generation, though, isn't he? Kevin Eldon, a comic hero. So, yeah, I joke that I'm the only one I've never heard of in this film. Everyone else is really well known. We knew Dylan had a lot of rich benefactors who would give checks and stuff like that, but we couldn't have lots of actors, so we had one actor that represented all those characters. Rosie the waitress, I don't know if you recognise her from Musketeers. She plays Mamie McCoy. She's brilliant in the film. You recognise? Yeah? She's great, isn't she, Steve? She's great. And it's like, so you sort of box clever. You think, right, I can't have lots of waitresses, but I can have one super waitress. I can't have lots of benefactors, so I can have one. You know, our antagonist in Stephen McIntosh is an amalgamation of lots of antagonists. So in some ways, the restrictions make you write harder and work stronger.
I can do this, Jack. I can get him ready for America.
I must warn you, I might break your heart.
How much trouble can one poet be?
He's taller than I expected. Here's the thing. Now, Elijah Wood is a great actor and a really nice guy. And he's been made so famous by Lord of the Rings movies. I mean, there isn't a corner of the planet that he doesn't get recognized. So we'd be having a pizza on a night out, and mid-mouthful, people are sort of tapping him on the shoulder, asking him to stop chewing and stand up and have a photograph. And he takes that really, really well. So all you fame-hungry actors over here, take it well, because they're your audience, you know? And so did I enjoy working with Frodo? No, I loved working with Elijah Wood. Why'd you have to ruin it? Sorry.
Being the writer as well, obviously, and presumably when you were writing the script, you knew you were going to be playing the Dylan Thomas part.
Agreed.
Yeah, so how difficult does that become then, writing for yourself, basically?
Not so difficult.
Because you know what you're going to say.
Because you know what you're going to say, but also I think it's okay to wear multiple hats as long as you don't wear them at the same time. So there was very much the process of writing it, and then there was the process of doing it, which are two different things. So when you're writing it, there's a moment where the writer knows everything about a project, and then the director comes on board, and then they know more than you. And then actors come on board, and then they know more than everyone. And then the audience come to watch it, and then they have the final opinions. So it's a collaborative process. It's a sum of all its parts. So I wasn't so worried because I was quite happy to take those hats off. But there was a really gorgeous thing about making this film, was that I enjoyed every element and every frame, because even if I wasn't acting, I was watching actors do something amazing with the words that we've written. And that really was a thrill. It was always set in stone for lots of different reasons. I think black and white is a really beautiful medium. I think there's not enough of it. The idea that people say that it's too old, which is crazy because everything goes in a cycle, and the fashions that are kind of really hip and in right now are just kind of a reflection of past sort of fashions that have gone around there. The music we're listening to now is sort of so kind of retro that black and white filming, that's going to come round. I think you get a focused sort of depth. You can appreciate a depth of field. I think it becomes very cinematic in black and white. But here's the thing. Black and white is Dylan Thomas. Dylan Thomas, for me, is the colour. The black and white he exists in. There's no moving image of Dylan Thomas. There's no recorded voice of Dylan Thomas. You can only hear really Dylan talking in his performance voice, which was a very particular sound. Because he started at the top and made his way down, and this is how he sounded when he wrote his poetry. Because he liked the sound of this vicar at home, so he based it on a vicar. So there's no conversational Dylan, there's no moving image of Dylan, there's no coloured Dylan. So when it came to doing this film, we thought, wow, this is a chance to sort of set a sort of timeless piece. This is Dylan walking and talking and fighting and whatever, you know, and crying and losing. This is the man, the beast, the angel, the madman, how he described himself. So we wanted it to be that. Also, when you hear the sort of the jazz and the smoke and the light and the black and white, imaginatively you can jump to New York quicker. And remember, we're not in New York, we're in Swansea, pretending to be New York. So the black and white really helped in a storytelling thing. So it helped us be cinematic, it helped us set it in time, it helped us sort of focus on Dylan, and it also helped us sort of sell America. It was always going to be a black and white movie. I went to Holyhead High School until I was 16, and then we'd kind of ended our relationship by then, I felt. And then I went to Coleg Cambria, so a college very much like this, not as big and as plush as this. It was in Park Menai, just near Menai Bridge, which is predominantly an arts school. I did performing arts there. And then I auditioned. I was pretty driven to where I wanted to be. I knew I had to go to a drama school. I knew I had to go to a drama school that would give me a showcase, because a showcase will put me in front of the profession. It's show business, not show friends, show business. So as soon as you get that whole idea of it's a business, what do I bring to the party? You know what I mean? What's my ticket? What do I sell? You know, as long as you can find a way you can fit into that without losing your own identity, then you'll be flying. Well, one of the reasons a film like this can exist is because you want to do it, you find the people that want to do it with you, but also you gather enough contacts and relationships that you can they're there for you if you've really looked after those relationships. And that went for the director as well. So we say we had very little money and very little time, but we'd all worked in the profession for so long that the people we knew, they were all ready to roll up their sleeves and help us make it. So the cinematographers won 3 BAFTAs, the designers won about 3 or 4 BAFTAs, the actors, everybody wants to come and help you make this film because you've worked with them and built a relationship in the past. So how did I get here? By sort of not peeing too many people off, but actually hopefully just chasing what I wanted to do and building those relationships where they were necessary, and support all along the way. I always say that it's like a rocket burns most of its fuel when leaving the Earth's atmosphere, but once you're in to orbit, it's just plain sailing to the moon. And right now, where you guys are, this is where you're going to burn all your fuel. In training, in making the right decisions, in building those relationships, in playing those parts, in making those films, making those connections. And once you've done enough of that, hopefully that will be enough of a foundation to get you where you want to go. But now is the time to be thinking, how do I get there? And I always say to people, think into drama school. And when you're in drama school, think out. And it's the same with you guys. You know, think into where you want to go and then think out, because the end goal is not a students' union. The end goal, that's just an element of it. The end goal is you guys doing what you should be doing and want to be doing with your life, and you can.
If I can just thank you all for your fantastic questions, and thank Celyn for coming in and doing this Q&A for us.
Pleasure. There's no secret, John. No holy grail. Just what's in front of all of us.
Set fire